Hey everyone, I was hoping to get this message put together sooner, but things like this unfortunately take time to set up. I just want to say that the acts of war against Ukraine break my heart, and I know as a prior service member myself that my thoughts and prayers go out to everyone who's fighting the fight that they really shouldn't have to. That being said, we have been working behind the scenes with all of our podcasts and podcast partners to put a fund together in order to pay for any refugee housing and other needs that go alongside that, like food, water, and any clothing needs. Internally, many podcasts in the Hospitality FM network have voluntarily given up sponsorship money in order to donate to the cause and are working on a unified message in order to spread throughout all of our podcasts. So, this is me calling out to all of our property manager friends, industry experts, and anyone knowing of those providing lodging for Ukrainian refugees seeking safety. You can contact me directly at will with one L, WIL, at slicktalkmedia.com. We have an internal document that is being updated in real time. So if anyone could share this message within your network, we'd greatly appreciate it. I'm also placing in the show notes a link to our GoFundMe and landing page for Rentals to Rescue. That's rentalstorescue.com, where we're putting funds together in order to, again, provide finances for any of these lodging and relocation needs. So thank you so much for tuning into this quick message. I hope you guys are all well and safe, as I know we have tons of listeners in Ukraine and other countries in Europe. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you guys enjoy this episode. Good morning, gentlemen.
Hello, hello.
Morning. Happy 2021.
I know, I was going to say, welcome to the future. We made it.
I know. I know we were texting like around New Year's Eve, actually. And of course, in Europe was a bit ahead of you. And then you were asking if something changed. Well, I wish I could tell you COVID is past. I make the joke with flying cars, but I don't know. It's a new year. But actually, I was super excited this time. I was like, this year is can we only be better, right? I'm not a negative person in general, but I'm curious what 2021 will bring us.
It has to be better than 2020.
For sure.
I know. I was going to say, unfortunately, we don't wake up and it's like a new year, new me type deal with all the events that happened in 2020. Some of the stuff obviously is still here, and we're still chugging along. So I'm glad that we're, still bringing some bright and colors and excitement to the industry through the show. I guess maybe how was your guys' New Year's overall? Just starting off, like, what was it like for you, Mr. Golden and Mr. Ross? Just understanding, like, we're all in different parts of the world, so kind of curious to see how that went.
Yeah, for me, it was the classic collard greens and black-eyed peas for New Year's, but nothing too crazy or too wild. We've got a little 19-month-old at home, so binds us a little bit from getting too wild. But it was a much-needed few days away from work, but ready for 2021. Got a good feeling about this year. Maybe not January, but the months that follow.
How about you, Mr. Ross?
No, it was nice, actually. Spent some good family time. It's also nice, but I was full with energy. And sometimes you still have this January dip when it's okay, do you really have to go back again? But actually now I really was full with energy. You spend a lot of time with family, but now I got so much time and energy. So I think it's a good sign. I'm positive about January. Of course, it'll be a strange month still. But so for Michael G, we can skip January if you would like to. But no, I'm curious what this year will bring us. And again, there's so much things happened last year. I think a lot of things accelerate in 2020 in innovation, automation. We might discuss this soon. But you see that a lot of things probably came quicker now. So I'm really curious what will bring us this year.
Yeah, I agree. It's crazy to think about, like, the whole 2020 in the year sense of 12 months and all the events that happened. It feels like it was a week ago, back last January, but it was 12 months ago. It feels like a century at the same time. So it's just been weird to reflect on the year. Obviously, last week we talked about what we've learned and what we're pretty much reflecting on and what we see, from this year, what's happened. It's been pretty interesting to take a grasp on that, on the time frame. It just feels weird. So like you guys, I think January probably not going to be, super great, but excited for the months to come afterwards. So I think that is also a great way to get into the Bidruption report. I've been feeling energized this morning. I was on like a great call last night and I just kind of carrying on. So I'm pumped to hear what you guys have to say for the Bidruption report and what's with all the noise. So I think, Mr. Ross, I'm going to kick it off to you.
Perfect. Welcome to the new Bidruption report of this year. Of course, I'm starting with the startup of the week. The one of this week is Hotel Hero. I spoke with Florian, one of the founders of Hotel Hero, and actually, it's really interesting what they're doing. They actually, especially now when hotels are looking for new possibilities and new channel managers, PMS, and this comparison it's everybody's comparing in travel, but not if you're looking at the OTAs by itself. So actually what they did, they built a marketplace, and as in hotel, you can set up what kind of hotel are you, what is your size, area vacation rental, how big are you, etc. And they actually recommending a channel manager or a PMS. You can also compare the cost. So they give you an advice. So it's actually a meta search and a marketplace where you can find your technical solutions. Again, what I mentioned, PMS, channel manager, many more. So actually matchmaking, and also you can manage your contracts there. So you can also see if I move from channel manager A to B, I could save this amount of money. So I think that did something really cool what they built. They're pretty early stage, but they have a lot of potential to grow quicker. So if you're in hotel and looking to save some money, I would just recommend check hotelhero.tech. They have for sure something great built. So check them out. Also, I would like again to compliment the whole team of Bidroom. I did it last week as well. Today we did kind of a kickoff. Now things start again. I sent a really long email to them about some plans, the way I see things, they will be differently this year. I think still a year will be focusing on travel recovery. We talk about it soon. Will take a while, but I'm positive it can come back. Probably not as before, but I'm positive about this one. And I really feel this is going to be a historical year for Bidroom. And that was the title of my email. I think this year, I mentioned before, in a crisis or in a situation like this, people can accelerate, can perform, can outstand. So I think we can come out stronger. We build a great product, improve the product. So if we're looking at Bidroom, I'm thinking we can nail it. We can come back stronger. And I really feel it's going to be a historical year for our company in a positive way. So let's make it happen. Next week, again, I'll talk you more about events which is coming. But still, if you're looking at January, not many events are planned. So, I keep you informed. I hope soon we're starting also with the iMeet Hotel events again, and I will let you know.
Happy Monday, everybody. This week, we're going to be going through, in general, our episode today is going to be about predictions for 2021. But before we get into our predictions, we want to go through some other people's predictions first. So pulling up short-term rentals 2021 predictions is a compilation of a number of industry leaders. Going to run through it real quick and basically say agree or disagree. First is tiny and mobile homes will be preferred types of lodging. Disagree. I think they will grow in adoption, but they will not be the preferred type of lodging. Until COVID is under control, I still think short-term rentals are going to be the go-to for most people. Second, remote, far-flung destinations will gain further traction. Agreed. I think a lot of people are excited to see the world, and typically people wanted to go to cities and enjoy the culture, the experience, the restaurants, the nightlife. But all that is more or less taken away. So it is definitely the time to shine for far-flung destinations. Next, the Attenborough effect and the rise of regenerative travel. Basically saying that ecotourism, or people being super conscious about their travels, will rise. I don't think that's going to be the case in 2021. I think people have been cooped up for too long. Even the people that are sensitive to climate change and all of that are not going to be overly sensitive. They're going to want to get out of their house. They're going to want to travel. And hopefully they'll be able to get on airplanes despite the carbon emissions that airplanes spew out. Next, tech convergence will continue at a rapid pace. I agree 100%. In fact, this will lead into one of my predictions. So we'll table that for a minute. Quality control will continue its acceleration. Absolutely. Short-term rentals, the big difference between short-term rentals and hotels is standardization and quality control. And I think short-term rentals are doing a better job of catching up to hotels. And I think 2021 will continue that accelerated trend. And then the rise of hospitality hybrids will blur lines even more with hotels. 100% agree, and this is going to be one of my additional predictions as well. Hospitality hybrids, we've talked about it a lot on this show, but you have to be flexible in this day and age and expect the giants to be flexible. And then the last one is work from home. We'll shift to work from anywhere. And if you don't think this is happening or real, you must be working from home without the internet or something. But it is here to stay, and I think it's here to stay for a long, long time, if not for forever. So those are the predictions that well, there's one more. Airbnb's IPO will intensify regulation of short-term rentals. We've also talked about this on the show a number of times. Wholeheartedly agree. That's where NoiseAware, shameless plug, fits into the greater ecosystem, because noise is one of the leading reasons why cities regulate short-term rentals. And that is why NoiseAware is here to help. But I want to bring on the other guys and start talking about some additional predictions. Any disagreements with my feedback there, Michael or Will?
Well, the sustainability part, I just had an article, an interview a week ago. Of course, I think people are more concerned about sustainability, about the environment than before. Is it a reason to not travel? No, at this point, I agree with you. But I think people are more concerned than before about everything around safety, earth, sustainability, climate change. I think people have this in mind more than before. I do agree that people will still travel. There's always a group of people who don't care, unfortunately. But I think people have this more in mind. So I think it will play a bit, and I think it will be more important than before.
My one disagreement will be the tiny home accommodation. I do think that is going to pick up more. There's already a good buzz around it, and the only reason why I say that, because I'm in a couple of groups and we are all talking about it. I have an investor of mine. Pretty much, we're starting a brand for them in order to get this going as well. So I think the tiny home, the pop-up trend, I think is going to be pretty popular, at least in the States. I don't know about anywhere else.
I agree that it's going to increase but it will not be the preferred type of lodging.
No. Okay. So that's the difference.
That is clearly coming from that space, right?
Yeah.
No, it is not like anybody that travels with a family is not going to go share a tiny home that is a studio during COVID. They're going to get some space, and anyone that's going to be sharing with another family or friends or anything, going to be in a rental.
It's a solo person or a couple travel accommodation, I think.
What is super popular here is the campings, right? The camper vans, they had a new record in many countries. They boom. So if you see the numbers of camper
Yeah.
vans and campers which are sold actually in this year, it broke
Yeah.
in many countries a new record. So I think we never addressed this topic.
Yeah.
So I think this is going to be more and more. It will
Yeah,
only grow.
look, I
Interesting
agree
to
100%. But growing from 1% to 3% market share versus,
Well, I'm
being
from Netherlands.
preferred.
One out of 5 people has a caravan or camper in here. So come on.
Where?
No,
1 out of 5?
in Europe, for sure, it's really. And the Netherlands is, I think, one of the biggest countries related to people who just travel by camper van or caravan. I think he called it the same in the US, but you see it in here in Poland and other countries. It's really increasing. The sales here was sky high.
Yeah,
So,
I was gonna say I have a friend who's an RV salesman, and that's the biggest request is like the smaller solo travel, but like caravan sprinter type deal has been the popular off the lot pretty quickly. Like they turn and burn through that inventory. And another one is this would be a great Bidruption report startup of the week, but Canva or Cabana, sorry, is what they're called. They're a startup here in Seattle, but they're a hotel on wheels where they're a customized brand for sprinters, and they feature pull out kitchens, showers, bathroom, luggage storage, closet, comfy bed, Netflix, solo panels, you name it. They have the whole thing. So I think it would be a great Bidruption report, but no, it's definitely a growing market. Not preferred though, Michael, you are correct on that. I don't think it's going to be preferred, but I do think it's going to open up a pretty different segment for travel.
Well, it's the group, right? You can see the families, and we talk about it soon. But if you're looking at the families, they don't travel to other countries. They're a bit concerned, and they want to be together. So I think, especially in the family group, they don't travel abroad or not too far, but they don't want to fly at least. For this, there's huge potential. So in buying or even renting an RV. I think for the singles, the couples, they will still travel. They're the first one to bounce back. The millennials, they will travel. Business, there will be some travel, of course, but it will be less than before. But I think recovery will be mainly millennials and the couples and singles. Families, this will take a while. This will be hopefully this year, but it might be even longer. But again, I think that's why you see them moving and going into travel by car, Airbnbs or vacation rental, etc. This will be for sure super popular for the families.
Cool. Well, I can roll into the 4 main predictions that I have. If you guys want to piggyback on those, or Michael have your own for the hotel segment, but the first 2 are going to be 2 repeats from this. The work from anywhere trend is going to continue, and it's going to rise. And we saw it starting to rise a little bit before COVID. It was what was it called? Where people would tack on 2 or 3 days to their business trip and have a little bit extra time in these cities. But I think that's going to expand even longer, and people are going to be able to bring their families, especially with schools still being remote in many parts of the country.
Yeah.
The next is big brands will try new things. And we've all seen and talked about Marriott's success. If the other major hotel companies aren't looking at that and saying we should do that too, their whole strategy team should be fired. Seriously, they should be gone if this isn't a part of their playbook in the coming years. So I would expect some big brands to try different things. They might not all be hotel brands. Maybe it's airlines. Maybe it's who knows, trains. But like things will be tried in new ways in 2022. Another one is vendor acquisition. If you look back at a lot of people's predictions year after year, and especially in short-term rentals, it's consolidation of the industry, but primarily the consolidation has happened on the property management side. It hasn't happened a whole lot on the vendor side. And I think this year is the year that a number of vendors are going to start to consolidate. And I think that's going to be ultimately a good thing for the industry.
And
then,
Michael, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
can I ask you what type of vendors are you talking about? Like, give us an example, because I know probably a couple of vendors, like NoiseAware is a vendor, and a couple other like people that we work with. But what kind of prediction of a vendor acquisition would you make without maybe even going too detailed?
Yeah, I mean, just look where there's a lot of competition. There's 80 PMSs that have 10,000 or more listings. Like,
Yeah.
That's obviously an area that can use some consolidation. There's a number of pricing companies that are popping up, so that's an area that can be consolidated. Channel management, there's lots of channel managers out there. I think that could be one that's ripe as well. And then there's also a lot of home automation companies. It was my joke every year at VRMA, which is the big industry event, that there's going to be 2 new home automation platforms that pop up and 2 that were there last year that aren't there this year. It's just a continuous cycle. So I think those are some of the key areas, but I mean, it could be anywhere. But good question. And then the last piece is this will be the year of the franchise. I think a lot of PMs are looking at their tech stack and saying, hey, if we just hand this to somebody else in another market, we don't want to expand ourselves because we know there's operational challenges. But if we gave somebody our playbook, we feel really good about our playbook. And I think a lot of people are going to be trying to franchise their local market or their 1 or 2 market companies into additional places.
I 100% agree with that. Just to piggyback off of that last part, I think you're 100% correct. I already know of one company pretty big in the ski resort, type destination, and they're already thinking like, how do we franchise this? We don't want to be in these markets ourselves, but we know that we have been doing this for 30 plus years and we're killing it, and we can kill it in other markets. So I could not agree more with that.
There were many points. If you go back to the first one, you mentioned this open work, the more flexibility. And this morning I sent an email to the team and actually included 7 letters, 7 keywords actually, what I think will be important. So it was better travel, it was innovation, distribution channels, recovery, open API, out of office, and more, the word more. So actually, of course, better travel makes sense. I mentioned the sustainability, innovation. I think we did so much innovation, people moving further. More distribution channels. I think also people, the companies, you mentioned a few, but also I think hotels, vacation rental, looking to more different distribution channels. You see that as a short-term rental, it's just Airbnb and some others, and in the hotel business is Booking and Expedia, who's actually have a duopoly. You can see now we had the biggest growth ever. Of course, it's all about recovery. I mentioned open API. I think also you see it, connectivity, more standards. I think we're also working on this. So I think more an open API. The out of office I mentioned, so people work more out of the office. And I think there's huge potential, people this remotely working, flexibility, and more. I think everything will be more than 2020, right? So we'll be more, hopefully we will travel more again. We don't want to have more members. Everything is more than last year. So the funny thing, if you taking all the first letters together, it's Bidroom. So it was also more like kind of a joke. But so we made it together. So it was a nice email. So it looked like if I picked them based on the words, kind of I did as well. But I think indeed what you mentioned, this open API connectivity, for sure, we talk about a lot, and there's a lot of consolidation for sure. It's too fragmented, too difficult, the whole industry. We talked about also in the previous episode. It's too difficult to move to another one. So I think there will be consolidation, more open standards. And again, also when you mentioned this work will be different. If we talked about this morning, like how do we see it? Do we go back fully to the office? I don't think so. You just go to a hybrid model, and I think everybody who went actually to this model, they're not going back. So there will be more and more will be hybrid. I think it's good. I think this will be also standard. The people traveling still for work, staying longer, work from there. I think also you can use your creativity more. So I think what could happen in maybe in a time frame of 10 years happen now in 1 year with innovation, the way of people adapting, working from home or working from workation or whatever, how people calling this nowadays. So I think it's just an acceleration what happened in 2020. And of course, it's hard.
And to piggyback on that point, it rolls in well with this question. Do you think more jobs will be offered or new jobs? For us, I know specifically at NoiseAware, we're doing a lot of hiring right now, and we no longer have to pull just from Dallas. We can hire from anywhere because we also don't have plans to go back to an office, and we'll have office space, and it'll be flexible for people to come in and out as they want to or desire. But yes, I think more opportunities will open up because you don't have to be in the city that your job is based out of. That, and as soon as travel returns, then travel is the number one, or hospitality in general is the number one job loss, at least in the US. I would have to imagine it's the same around the world. So 100% new jobs will be around as soon as travel turns around, which I think we're optimistic Q2 on the early side and Q3 at the latest. We will hopefully be in greater than 50% occupancy levels for hotels.
Yeah. I think you see a lot of people lost a job that went maybe they get a different job in a completely different workspace, right? You see they're moving out from hospitality because there was no jobs available. So I think there will be a lot of jobs needed soon. We talked about in previous episodes also about reskilling, upskilling. We mentioned Hotel.school. But I think there will be a new shift, a new generation. Actually, I think also that's why I think this all innovation, the way of thinking, how people using social media, and in general advertising will be also shifting. So I think there will be what I mentioned before. What should happen maybe in 10 years happened in 1 year. Unfortunately, a lot of people lost their jobs. Some of them might find a job somewhere else, but not in hospitality quite often. So I think there will be indeed a new generation or some upskilling or reskilling happening in there. And things will be automated, right? I think there will be some shift. There will be some group who really lost their job. They're not come back because it's automated. So they will see some change there.
My biggest thing is, like, I think with you guys just saying what you said with the work from anywhere trend, I don't think it's going to be quite a trend. I think it's going to be, like you said, the office will be there for people to kind of come in and go as they please. But I think also working from home or working from a co-working space or working from a vacation rental or a hotel near the beach where you can go unplug your laptop and go unwind for a bit is going to become the new, we talked about in the first episode, COVIDpreneurs, but I think we're going to see a lot of people in the space that never thought about entrepreneurism or entrepreneurship, in the sense of now they've gotten a taste of that freedom, that freelance style, that free thinking, creativity, and of course, like you said, marketing, social media. Like, we're seeing so many huge, like, basically, like, one of the biggest things I learned with me is that I'm not a podcast, I'm a media company. Like, basically, if you look at everything that goes through it, and so keeping up with what is going on these social platforms, as well as pretty much anything on the internet, and how it all works, I think people are really starting to see that, and I think it's going to be something that's going to carry on for quite a while and create a lot of new entrepreneur / maybe not full-time entrepreneurs either in the space, more like hey, I like my job, I love my job, I can work anywhere and make that steady income, but I can also really have that open time for my side hustle that really it's like a hobby that has a revenue stream with it, so I think it's going to be a lot of that.
Yeah, you see indeed the digital nomads, right? It's booming. You see the hotels offering services to stay here for 1 month for a small rate. So this whole digital nomad and traveling, it will stay for a while now. I think it's cool. You see also like people moving inside hustle. They can create something. It's more easy than ever to create something by yourself, to build a brand or even personal brand and become an influencer, travel expert, travel around the world, try to get some things compensated. So this is more easy than before. So you call it COVIDpreneurs, and I think there will be still, and I hope a lot of new entrepreneurs popping up actually the coming years. So I think also just if somebody sees the interesting one, share it, because like I mentioned in the Big Eruption report. But I think it's something really interesting to look into. Which kind of companies popping up actually in the coming year, or pop up last year, but also it's popping up in the coming year.
Yeah, and I think another trend, maybe less travel, but it can ultimately lead to more travel, is with piggybacking on the work from anywhere. My wife and I binge watched a series called Mediterranean Life. The people just like picked up their lives and moved to Croatia or Montenegro or the coast of Spain or Portugal or whatever. And like, at least as an American, and the prices that homes are in many cities and states here, looking at a house that overlooks the Mediterranean from Croatia that only costs $200,000-$300,000 is pretty attractive. And considering you can work from anywhere, so as long as you've got a stable internet connection, you can literally pick up your family, move across the world, and have a really cool quality of life. And I think that's probably something a lot of people have dreamed of, and maybe we'll start to do this year at an accelerated rate.
I couldn't agree more. And I think Brianne as well, she's definitely gonna do that when she's retired, she says. But why wait till you're retired? Just do it now.
No, but it's funny to say, because me and my wife had the same topic. We said, okay, why not travel to different countries and moving out? And it's experience for the kids. It's not always easy, of course. Now we will not do because of Bidroom, but in a few years when Bidroom when the IPO or sold, or we'll see where it will bring us. Then we have some episodes about the whole IPO of Bidroom. But after this period, after this phase, so I don't say I think it will be a period of 3 years, to be honest, and not much longer. So after, we will do the same. Why not move to a different country? Why not, even my daughter speaks perfect English, go even for a period to the US. We're swapping homes with Michael G, and he can go to Krakow for a while. But also go to different places. Why not? It's so beautiful. We all miss travel. And I think this will be more happening than before. When you're able to work from everywhere, constantly you get creativity, new energy, and I think it only helps you in doing your work better. So I will do the same in a few years as well. And I'm looking forward to it already.
And it's so different even just spending 1 full week somewhere, but 2-3 weeks a month in a single location is a totally different travel experience than the typical American to Europe travels for 2 weeks and they go to 3 or 4 cities, and they don't spend more than 2 or 3 days per city, right? And yes, you can go see the Mona Lisa and the Eiffel Tower and then have a nice dinner and then go somewhere else. Like, you don't really get the feel. You don't really experience the culture until you've stayed there for several weeks straight. And I spent about a month in Krakow, and I absolutely loved it. And I think a lot of the places that I like across the world are places I've spent more than a day or two, more than a week or two, really. Because you really get to feel the culture and experience the life.
Well,
we just go like every year, go for 2 or 3 months, just go to different country and feel the local life and get this experience for yourself, for your kids, and they are out for a while anyway during the summer holidays. But you have this experience working from a different place for those summer months or 2-3 months per year. I think it's a great opportunity. So I'm happy that Brian also agrees with me, and I can't wait. The more I'm thinking about it, actually, we discussed it also during those Christmas days. So yeah, just a few years still focusing on this great journey, but I think after it'll be great to do it right.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt, Will. I've been just continuously planting the seed with my wife. Like, as soon as Oliver's a little bit older, we're going to spend 1 month a year, every year, somewhere else. Like, in Alabama in July, August, it's oppressively hot and humid. I would love to get out in those months. So I think that's something that I certainly plan on doing in the next few years once my little one gets a little bit older.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, shameless plug for the Destination Air Awards that we did last year and continuing on this year. I think that's the most and I was on a call last night with on this new platform I was telling you about called Clubhouse, and there's a bunch of people that were starting to get into Airbnb investing or short-term rental investing, and then also hotels. And the one thing that is going to be the game changer is creating experiences. People that you have to be wired to create these memories, these moments. It's an art. It becomes something. That's where we get really geeky with hospitality. And I think it's cool to talk shop with you guys on the show. But getting hearing talking about moments and experiences and becoming part of that local community. I think that's where it's really going to bring back the heart of hospitality, especially with COVID. Everyone's masked up. We got plexiglass in front of hotels and all these other things. Like that human experience, we don't get to fully, take in. But I think even more than ever right now is going to be wiring to, or the more we're being intentional with these experiences and what we're providing and offering, and just being intentional with our humanism, then I think it's going to be pretty incredible and game changing for the time moving forward. And I just want to say shout out to Bree for interacting with us. She's got kids too, and I don't think her husband would like her moving off to some other country, but hey, someday. And thanks for engaging with us. It's been awesome. So yeah, that was just my little shameless plug for the awards, and then of course the concept.
But look at the positivity we have during this podcast, right? We're so looking forward to the future things will come. I think we never talk so much about family and wives and conversations we had during Christmas time. But actually, if you see what you talked about, actually, we did the same. I was so many times we talked about, when we saw our friends, we talked about, okay, should we celebrate New Year's Eve somewhere, maybe in Dubai or somewhere else? What is the next destination? So we talked so much, if I think about those days, so much about holidays. And I think all of us are so looking forward. So yes, people say the recovery can take a while, but I think we're so hungry to travel. I think we can't wait. So I think as soon people feel a bit safer, we'll just go. We want to get out. We want to travel. So I'm positive.
Awesome. Yeah. Let's go. Let's do it right now. Just kidding. Well, thanks guys for being on, of course, every week. We love, we've had pretty great engagement today. Bree, shout out to you again, just for commenting on the show. If you guys have any comments or questions for next week's episode, let us know. Thank you for just being a part of the show, guys. Great, bringing in a lot of incredible insight. I love working with you. So here's to a bright future and a bright, travel time, I guess. That's pretty much all I can think of.
That's right. Cool.
Perfect.
Well, enjoyed it. Here's to 2021.
Woo woo.
That's